Welcome back to another edition of the GuerrerosAzteca Podcast, a podcast where we talk about the Liga MX and everything going on around the football mexicano. Man, probably the hardest podcast I have ever had to do. I've tried to record this 2 days now, 2 days in a row, and I just couldn't, man. And it's not that I couldn't, but it's just that I didn't want to be honest with you. I tried it and I was like, man, I just don't even feel like talking about it. And what we're talking about here, by what you can tell from the title of this video, and what we all know we're going to discuss, is Mexico's elimination from the World Cup in the hands of Netherlands 2-1. Sunday morning, I guess, for us over here in the United States and in Mexico. Man, it was a tough one, man. It was a tough one to just analyze and to think about and to relive. You know, having to do these podcasts, you're kind of forced, or you kind of have to, relive those moments. You kind of have to put yourself back in those positions and just think about the game once again, what went wrong, what they were doing right. And it just sucked. It just really sucked. Sunday, I didn't even want to talk about it. I didn't want to listen to anything dealing with it. I just wanted to get away from it. I went outside for a couple of hours, played with my dog, whatever, just try to get away from it. I didn't want to listen to any sports analysis dealing with the guy. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. And then later at night, it was a little bit better. And then yesterday, Monday, I just avoided it for the most part, but it was a little bit better. I feel a lot better about it. It still hurts. Still to this day, it hurts. It's still an open wound, but I feel a lot better about it. So Mexico, yeah, man, was so damn close. So damn close to finally getting to that fifth game, advancing to the quarterfinals. And in the 87th minute, Wesley Sneijder ties the game with a nice set piece play by the Netherlands. But if you got to point fingers in that play, it's Javier Aquino who loses his man. He leaves Wesley Sneijder wide open. Easy goal for Wesley Sneijder. There was no one within 4 feet of Wesley Sneijder. He had all day, super comfortable shot, and sure enough, he buried it. And then in the 94th minute, Klaas Huntelaar, we all saw that penalty, and I still think it shouldn't have been a penalty. There's a part of me that says, man, just whatever, it was a penalty, but I still think, maybe whatever, maybe it could have been called. I feel like it shouldn't have been a penalty. I feel like, what's his name, Robben. I feel like Robben could have stayed on his feet, man. Did Rafa touch him? Sure, he touched him. He didn't step. I hear people saying he stepped on his foot. That's not true. He made contact with his foot, but this is a contact sport. Contact happens, and I understand that sometimes. What my argument is that I think Robben could have stayed on his feet. I think, and we all see the replay, and you could tell he exaggerates it. You can tell So, is it a blatant flop? I feel it is, because I feel like he could have stayed on his feet, but Robben noticed he had, pretty much Layun or Diego Reyes was already going to disarm him. They were already going to take the ball from him, so he said, I have no chance. This play has no chance of progressing. Rafa just hit my foot. Let me, it's a split-second decision, and these players like Luis Suarez, players like Arjen Robben, players like even Neymar, who is probably very, very much known for that, they think quickly, they feel contact, boom, they do their act and they flop. And that's not only them, man. Every player out of every team pretty much flops. I don't want to say every player, but, 70% or 80 or 85% of the players in the team, if they flop, man. But Robben is known for this. Robben, I think I saw a statistic. I don't remember where I saw it. I don't have it here in front of me, but it said something like Arjen Robben, he has 14 penalties or 12 penalties called in favor of him and his team in finals with his club and in World Cups. So he's known for this. That's what Robben does. Everyone knows that. For the majority, I've listened to in the media and in social media, especially on Twitter, the opinion of the people, not only of Mexico fans, but of a lot of neutral fans. I guess you can say Colombian fans or England fans or this or that. And the majority, what I've felt is that they feel that it was a blatant flop. I saw all the newspaper covers, or not all of them, but I saw a lot of newspaper covers from England, from different parts of the world, and it just says robbed or Robben does it again or this or that. So the majority of people feel like he flopped. I feel like he could have stayed on his feet. I feel like he flopped. I felt like it shouldn't have been a penalty, but that's not an excuse. And I as much as my heart wants to just blame that blame Mexico's elimination and blame the loss on the referee and on Robben for blatantly just flopping. The point of the matter is that Mexico betrayed their style, man. This entire World Cup, we hadn't seen Mexico take a defensive stance like they did against the Netherlands. And you might say, well, against Brazil they played defensive. I don't think so. I think Brazil just pushed them back, and I saw a difference, because it's easy to say the Netherlands pushed Mexico back. No, Miguel Herrera has admitted he made a mistake by sending the team to defense mode. Mexico had enough to take more control of the ball. I understand after Mexico's goal, the Netherlands was gonna surge forward. They were facing elimination. They were forced to attack, but Mexico, they scored the goal and then they just, boom, complete defensive mode, and that it just wasn't going to work. Eventually, they were going to tie the game, and then when we're all betting on extra times, boom, the penalty happens and Juntalar sinks it. So there we go. There's the elimination. I just feel like, Miguel Herrera just made a mistake there in the final minutes of the game, or in the second half. I also didn't understand why Aquino came in. A lot of people were questioning that. I questioned it when it happened. I was like, why Javier Aquino? I mean, because Javier Aquino had played like a couple minutes in the World Cup. I just didn't see what I thought. He should have brought in Gulit Peña, or because Gulit Peña gives you more. He has something to offer offensively, but he's also a very good defender. So I just thought Gulit Peña was the obvious choice right there. If you were gonna take away a striker like Giovanni Dos Santos, which he did, he pulled out Gio Dos Santos and he put in Javier Aquino, I believe. That was the change he made, and I just didn't see it happening. I was like, why is he taking out a striker? Are we gonna go full defensive mode right now? And that happened in the 61st minute when he pulled out Giovanni Dos Santos. So that was a long way to go. 30 plus minutes. I just didn't see why that would happen, man. But it's tough to talk about it, because it's like you try to think and you try to talk about what could have been done differently, and it's like, why? What's the point? And that's how I felt Sunday and Monday. Yesterday I felt like, man, why even talk about it, man? What's the point? But here we are, because now I feel a lot better, actually, a lot better than what I did on Sunday. But it still hurts, and I felt like, maybe instead of Javier Aquino coming in, maybe it should have been Gulit Peña, or if you want to go more offensive, if you want to take the ball, Marco Fabian, but instead he puts in Aquino, and I just didn't understand it. Not blaming the loss on Miguel Herrera. I 120% feel like Miguel Herrera should stay as the Mexico boss from now to Russia 2018, to the next World Cup. I feel like he is the leader. He is the ideal candidate, and I 100% want Miguel Herrera to stay. I feel like the players love playing under him, love playing for him. I feel like he represents Mexico greatly. He pretty much got famous. He already had fame in Mexico, in the United States. People that follow the Liga MX knew his celebrations, knew the passion that he put into him. That's nothing new to us. We all knew how Miguel Herrera celebrates, and we all knew how his character was, but people, international people and the international media have really warmed up to Miguel Herrera, and they're really gonna miss him in this World Cup because he's a character, man, and it's not like he's just faking it. He's not exaggerating it. We saw it when he was managing Club America, when he managed Monterrey, when he managed Atlante, when he managed these other clubs, Veracruz. That's always how he has celebrated. So it's nothing new to us. He's not faking it. We all know that. So Miguel Herrera, I saw a website on Twitter saying, what was it? MiguelHerreraForEngland.com or something like that. It was like crazy. So Miguel Herrera has gotten a lot of recognition and a lot of love from the international media and the international fans. But Miguel Herrera should definitely 100% stay in front of the Mexican national team. I have no doubt about that. It still bothers me, man. It still bothers me because they were so damn close, and I think that's what hurts the most to all of us Mexican fans and supporters is that, maybe if they lost 3-0, maybe if the Netherlands blew us out of the water, if the game wasn't even close, then fine. You just live with it. You deal with it. All right, we're inferior to the team, but when you're that close, just minutes away, 5-6 minutes away from advancing, and then in the span of 7 minutes they score 2 goals, and you're left with what happened? How did we choke this? How did they just turn it around this quickly in the blink of an eye? And it was just the mistakes. I once again, I feel like Mexico shouldn't have gone defensive. It just always happens, man. It always happens that when a team tries to defend a 1-goal lead, a minimal difference, they usually end up paying for it. Whether the team ties it and they go to extra time and they lose in extra time, or whether this happens, the team scores 2 back-to-back goals. It never goes well, man. It happened. I apologize right now to Cruz Azul fans for this happening, or for me bringing this up. But remember Miguel Herrera as the America manager in the 2013 America versus Cruz Azul final, right? Just picture it once again. America is down with 10 men. What does Miguel Herrera do? Instead of going defensive, he has 10 men, with America. Instead of going defensive, he attacks. Cruz Azul is the one that starts defending their 1-goal lead, or I guess 2-goal lead, right? It was 1 goal in that game, but in the aggregate score, they had a 2-goal lead because they had won the first leg 1-0. Anyways, what happened in that game? They went full defensive. America scores once again, just like we saw this past Sunday. 2 goals in the span of a couple 5 minutes or something like that, 5 or 6 minutes. It just always happens, man. Not always. I don't want to say always, but it just usually it feels like it never ends well. And I put it on Twitter. Mexico shouldn't be going defensive. You're playing with fire. We need to take the ball. This is not good. Sure enough, the Netherlands kept getting corner after corner after corner. Eventually, one of those corners fell to Wesley Sneijder, and he just put it away. And then we all know the flop or the penalty, whatever. You might feel like it's a foul. I felt like he could have stayed on his feet. I felt like he flopped. For the most part, the media feels that way as well. Social media, I've perceived that most people feel he flopped. But the crazy thing is that Arjen Robben, he admitted to flopping, but he admitted to flopping earlier in the first half. I think where I think the play where Hector Moreno got fractured, I think where he had to come off for an injury. I think in that play is where Robben is talking about where he admitted that he flopped. He tried to fake a penalty, and that's where the ref should have gave him a yellow card. He didn't. And then Robben says that the final play, the penalty against Marquez, the penalty that decided everything, that one wasn't a flop, that one was legit, and that Marquez actually tackled him. I feel like that one was a flop as well, but I feel like if the ref carded him earlier in the game for flopping, he tried it like 3 times earlier, or 2 times at least. He tried flopping, 2 times earlier. If at least one of those times the ref cards him, he might not try it at the end of the game like he did. Because, in risk of the ref carding him once again or something like that. But the ref just never carded him. And, it's not that eliminated Mexico, but, it surely doesn't help. It surely doesn't help. And the truth is that Mexico played against the referees the entire World Cup. The first game versus Cameroon, Mexico scores 2 legit goals. Nothing happens. They invalidate them. And then Mexico was forced to score a goal, or Oribe Peralta scored a goal, and Mexico picks up the win there. But the refs were lucky that Mexico actually picked up a win, because there would have been a lot more controversy about the refereeing if Mexico hadn't won, because they invalidated 2 legit goals from the Mexican national team and from Giovanni Dos Santos. And in the Brazil game, the refereeing was pretty much spot on. It was perfect. In the Croatia game, there was 2 penalties against Croatia that weren't called, 2 handballs, I believe. I think one of them was very, very blatant. The dude pretty much dove. Who was it? I think it was Perisic. I don't remember who it was that pretty much dove at the ball like a goalkeeper, almost. Not that blatant, but it was pretty damn close. They didn't call that a penalty, but once again, Mexico won in that game, so there was not a lot of controversy about the refereeing there. And then against the Netherlands, the flop is what has captured most of the attention and what has caused the most controversy, the Robben flop at the end of the game. So it's not that Mexico got eliminated blatantly because of the refereeing, but it surely didn't help. And that last decision of him to call that penalty just definitely didn't help and really, really hurt the Mexican national team. After Huntelaar scores that penalty, there was 2 minutes or a minute and a half for Mexico to try to tie it up and force extra time, and it just wasn't going to happen. The team was morally destroyed already and emotionally destroyed. You heard Miguel Herrera just furious in the post-game conference, ripping into the referee, and a part of you just wants to blame every single thing on the ref and on that last-minute call, which I do feel like it had a lot to do with the result. But, it's not all that had to do with it. I felt like Mexico also made a lot of mistakes, to close out that game, and we paid for it. Mexico paid for it. The biggest one, in my opinion, was going defensive. Going defensive, that's betraying your style. That's betraying Miguel Herrera's style. Even when he's winning, Miguel Herrera is not known for defending his leads, especially not a 1-goal lead. He's not known for that. He never does that. Sure, he could play defense. I think the Mexican national team had one of the most solid defenses in the entire World Cup, but that's not his style. He defends. Miguel Herrera's style is defending while having the ball. You're defending yourself while you're having the ball. That's how you keep the enemy at bay. And I feel like going defensive was just a betrayal of your style, of your characteristics. And it cost us, and it was just experiences that Miguel Herrera will learn from. That's experiences that his entire staff will learn from, and hopefully for the next World Cup, which is a long time from now, man. But it's crazy, man. Time flies, honestly. Time flies. The last World Cup in 2010, I was graduating from high school. It feels super weird, but it feels like it was just 2 years ago. It doesn't feel like it was 4 years ago. But it was a long time ago, 4 years. So the next World Cup is a long time from now in Russia. But I'm looking forward to it, man. And hopefully that's a World Cup that I can attend. Hopefully that's a World Cup that I can go to. Right now I'm in college, so I don't have the budget to take a trip to Brazil. But hopefully by 2018, I'm already graduated with my full-time job or career, hopefully, and I could attend an actual World Cup. And hopefully they strip the 2022 World Cup from Qatar and they make it here in the United States, so I can definitely go to that one. But anyways, man, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you feel in the comments down below. Do you feel like it was completely the fault of the referee that cost Mexico the game? Or are you like me that feels like that had a lot to do with it? Sure, but it wasn't all that caused Mexico to lose, and it was also certain mistakes that the Mexican national team made, that El Tri made, to close out that game. The biggest one for me, it was going defensive. Also, some of the substitutions I didn't really understand, but I can't say that was why Mexico lost. I can't point a finger and say Aquino's fault. Maybe Aquino lost coverage in the first goal and Schneider's goal, but I can't just point the finger at him, whatever. So I feel like it was going defensive. That was just betraying your style was the worst thing you could have done. And it cost us. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Likes are appreciated. I'm still hurt, but your support definitely does help. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, bros. And as always, que viva el fútbol.